Well, welcome and thank you for joining us. I'd like to begin this meeting by acknowledging the traditional owners of these lands, waters and skies, the Wadawurrung people. We acknowledge and respect their continuing connections to their lands, waters, skies, culture, and the contribution they make to the life and spirit of our community. We pay respect to their past and present elders and their emerging leaders and extend this respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. We may notice that we commenced this meeting with the CEO chairing the meeting. We will be electing a new mayor this evening. And before we do jump into the meeting, I'd just like to thank Councillor Ebbels for the service he's provided council over the last 12 months. It's been a pleasure to work with you, Mr. Mayor, or Mr. Former Mayor. And we do appreciate the time, the effort and the energy you've put into council over the last 12 months.
Thank you.
Just wanted to run through the apologies. Councillor Susan is an apology for this evening, and all officers and other councillors are present. Councillors, are there any pecuniary interests or conflicts of interest? Disclosures?
No.
Thank you. Councillors, no leave of absence has been applied for. And as I mentioned earlier, consistent with clause 7 of the Borough of Queenscliff governance rules, I'll temporarily chair this meeting until the election of the mayor, who will then assume the chair. So item 6 of the agenda is the election of the mayor. And in accordance with section 25 of the Local Government Act, the council must, at a meeting that's open to the public, elect a councillor to be the mayor of the council. In accordance with section 25(3)(a) of the Act and clause 7 of the Borough of Queenscliff governance rules, as I've said, I will preside for the purposes of the election of the mayor. If the mayor is elected for a one-year term, the next election of the mayor must be held on a day to be determined by council that is close to the end of the one-year term, as is reasonably practicable, and hence today. The report, we also go through what the role of the mayor is, and we'll take that as read. But what I'd like to do now is just set the mayoral term. So the first item that we deal with is whether or not the council wants to resolve to have a mayoral term of 1 year or 2 years. And there's a recommendation before the council is there that the council set a mayoral term for 1 year or a 2-year term. Or I have someone to move that, please.
I'd like to move, Mr. CEO, that council set the mayoral term for 1 year.
Thank you, Councillor Hewitt.
I'm happy to second that, Mr. CEO.
Councillor Ebbels. Councillor Hewitt, do we need to speak to?
No.
No? Would you like to?
No, happy with it.
We might put that to the vote. All those in favour? Thank you, councillors. So the next mayoral term will be for 1 year, commencing this evening and ending as close as practicable to the 24th of November next year. As I've set out, I will now, under item 6.2, call for nominations for the office of the mayor.
Mr. CEO, I'd like to nominate Councillor Ebbels as the mayor for this coming 1 year.
Is there anyone who'd like to second that nomination?
I'll second that, Mr. CEO.
And I'm assuming, Mr. Ebbels, that you accept.
Yes, I do. Thank you. Great.
Are there any other nominations at this point? No. So that being the case, if only one councillor is the candidate for mayor, the meeting must declare that the councillor is to be duly elected as mayor. So I will do that. Congratulations, Councillor Ebbels.
Thank you.
Or Mayor Ebbels. I'll now vacate the chair and pass over to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Martin. And I think item 6.4 before I do have a short incoming speech to make. But firstly, we'll move on to item 6.3, election of deputy mayor. Section 20A(1) of the Act provides the council may establish an office of deputy mayor. The duties are laid out before us here. The recommendation that council determines whether it wants to establish the role of deputy mayor for the mayoral period. The recommendation is there before us, councillors. Would anyone like to move?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
So move that we establish the role. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for that?
Yes.
Councillor Grigal, thank you. Would anyone like this? Would you like to speak to the recommendation, Councillor Grant?
Yeah, I'll just say a couple of words. I think it'd be an important addition to our council to have somebody else involved in the senior role and helping us be as effective as we can be as a councillor group. And so I think it's quite important that we fill the role this 12-month period.
Thank you. Councillor Grigal, did you wish to speak?
Oh, yes, thank you. I think it's important that we always have some deputy in charge. I think in the recent times of accident-prone councillors within our term, I think it'll be a bit of sort of secession or a sort of backup plan just in case like unforeseen accidents happen.
Would anyone else like to speak for?
I'd just like to agree with Councillor Grout and Councillor Grial on the usefulness, I suppose, of having a deputy mayor and someone to support you, Mayor Ebbels, as we emerge from COVID and the events increase and the time pressures increase and the things we have to do. So
Yes.
very much
Thank you,
support.
Councillor Hewitt, and I agree with everyone's sentiments there. I think the timing is right to appoint a deputy mayor as well. We do have a mover and a second. All those in favour? Thank you. So fast. Thank you. As we have determined that we will establish the role of deputy mayor for the mayoral period, I will ask for some nominations to fill the role of deputy mayor. Do we have any nominations from the floor? Councillor Grout?
Yeah, I'm keen to nominate Councillor Hewitt for deputy mayor.
Thank you. And I'm very happy to second that nomination. Councillor Hewitt, are you happy to accept that nomination?
Yep.
Councillors, do we have any other nominations for the role of deputy mayor? No, if not, thank you very much and congratulations, Councillor Hewitt. Welcome to the big league. Well done. I look forward to working with you. It's going to be great. So congratulations. So 6.4, the incoming mayoral speech. Firstly, thank you, Mr. CEO, and thank you to my fellow councillors. It is indeed a great honour to be elected mayor of this great borough of Queenscliff, where we live. Well, we all live here in our daily lives, and it's not one that just being a council, we certainly don't take lightly, and certainly as mayor, I don't take lightly. And I look forward to the next 12 months. To the CEO, thanks for your guidance and assistance over the past 12 months. It's been an interesting 12 months. We thought 12 months ago, we thought these 12 months just gone were going to be hopefully a little bit cleaner and easier for us. But, we got thrown a few challenges there, but we're still fighting the fight, and it's in the borough is in great shape. And certainly thanks to yourself and the team here that you have. Of course, thank you very much to my fellow councillors for the support you've given me the past 12 months and the confidence in me to lead this great team for another 12 months. Congratulations, Councillor Hewitt, for accepting the role of Deputy Mayor. I'm certainly looking forward to working closely with you and enjoying your lively banter and, of course, your good-natured humour over the next year. This morning, I did look back to see what I said this time last year, and I reflected that after 1 week together, I had the feeling that this council was going to work really hard for our community. 12 months on, and I can tell you that this council group has exceeded my expectations with a level of work and commitment to their roles. All 5 councillors have embraced their relevant portfolios, and this was evident during the council plan consultation process. And I know this will continue for the next 3 years as this team continues the hard work that we've already started. My fellow councillors are all very respectful of each other, most importantly, bring a wide variety of ideas and thoughts to the table. This can only result in a win for our community. The first year of a new council is always busy, and this year was no exception. The development of our 4-year council plan and our 10-year community vision resulted in many hours for our councillors and officers. It is a great roadmap for where we as councillors and the community wish to head. It is an ambitious plan, but one we have worked hard to achieve. This, of course, leads us into a very exciting 12 months coming. Of course, our council plan is really vital as we are quickly approaching both federal and state elections. We will, of course, be advocating to all parties, both state and federal, as to how they can help our community financially achieve our council plan strategic objectives. Of course, this must be in line with our own council plan and not stray from this simply because another level of government thinks it knows what the Borough of Queenscliff needs. Through council plan consultation, our community has already told us what they want and need. Of course, the adoption of our climate emergency response plan was a great achievement for our community. This is a great example as we as council can work with our community to achieve some great things. I look forward to the implementation plan coming to council soon that will also contribute greatly to the work of the council over the next 12 months. Finally, thank you to my family for their unwavering support and also my close friends for the support. Thank you, Mr. CEO, and thank you to my fellow councillors and also council officers. Thank you very much. Councillors, item 7, public question time. 7.1, public question status update. There are no questions outstanding. 7.2, public questions. We have received no public questions tonight. My first night as the newly elected mayor. So, but we do look forward to having people ask questions, and obviously it's great to see. At least we've got one person in the gallery tonight, but as we move ahead, we're hoping that people start to come back to join in the gallery as well. Councillors, item 8, confirmation of council minutes. 8.1, ordinary meeting of council. The recommendation that the minutes of the ordinary meeting of council of the Borough of Queenscliff held on 27th October 2021 as distributed be confirmed as an accurate record. Can I get someone to move that? Thank you, Councillor Grigor. Seconded, Councillor Hewitt. Any discussion? Minutes? No, thank you. All those in favour? Thank you. So moved. Item 9, record of Assembly of Councillors. Councillors, the recommendation that the record of Assembly of Councillors as presented in adjunct to item 9 be noted. And someone to move that, please. Councillor Grout, thank you very much. Can I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Grigor, thank you. If there's no questions, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Thank you. Getting my head swiveling around a bit. I'm used to looking at a screen and everyone's in front of me, but so I will keep rotating, making sure that I take notice of everyone. Item 10, notice of motion. 10.1, notice of motion status update. There are no motions on notice outstanding. 10.2, no notices of motion were received. 11, petitions and joint letters. 11.1, there were none received. Councillors, item 12, functions attended, and it's nice to see that as we're coming back to some sort of normal, that we can see that the functions attended list is growing from month to month, so which is great. We do have the list there, and there is a recommendation that the functions attended report be received. Councillor Grout.
Yeah, can I move functions attended report be received with the following adjustments? So on the 10th of November 2021 Water for Our Future. I also attended that function. And on the 12th of November, the G21 Planning and Services Pillar meeting was moved from that date to the 30th of November. So it hasn't happened yet, but next week will happen.
Okay. Thank you for that. Jackie, you got that? Thank you. Councillors, any other alterations? If not, we have a mover with that slight adjustment. Can someone to second that? Second, Councillor Hewitt. All those in favour? Thank you. So moved. Item 13, Chief Executive Officer report. Over to you, Mr. CEO.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And through you, just a short report this month. Of course, the main event for us was the windstorm on the 29th of October. And even though we've given an update in the report, that we continue to work on the cleanup, and we continue to get arborist reports about other trees that we may need to effectively manage. The important thing, I think, for our community is that we're starting to move now into the cleanup of the roadsides and some of the piles of vegetation have been sitting there for a couple of weeks now. We should start to see those be moved in the next couple of weeks. Otherwise, I'll take the report as read and happy to answer any questions.
I'll get someone to move and second it before we put it out to questions. It's moved by recommendation that council receives a CEO report for November 2021. You're happy to move that, Councillor Hewitt? Someone to second that?
I will,
Thank you. Councillor Grigor, do we have some questions in regard to the CEO report, councillors? Yeah, Councillor Hewitt?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Bulls. I just wanted to congratulate the council officers again on their fantastic work and recognition as part of the National Climate Awards. It's a tremendous piece of collaboration between the community and council, and I've so much gratitude to all the council officers who have been a part of it and worked so hard to ensure that to facilitate the partnership and implement some of the actions that we've already set in stone to achieve. So congratulations, it's a terrific recognition, and we look forward to what can be achieved.
Thank you, Councillor Hewitt. Any other questions, Councillor Grigor?
Like to thank all the council officers and CEO for managing the storm cleanup. It's very important to give back the public sort of confidence that our parks are safe. But noting the cost is ranging between $90,000 and $100,000. Are any of these costs being able to be recovered through our insurance policy?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, it's unlikely that we'll be able to recover costs through the insurance. We have made some applications to the emergency funding relief that the government has provided, and we'll be able to recover some funds through there, but not a significant amount. So, but we'll keep exploring the avenues, and I think this, certainly the government has been good in their response to emergencies in the last 24 months, and I assume that they'll continue to liaise with us about how they might be able to help us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? No. Just one more, and I hate to keep on about the windstorm, but just a question. I know when it first happened, we were struggling to find crews to actually get out there and to do the cleanup. Is it still the case, or is it, given that we weren't the only region hit, obviously the other parts of the state? I'm just wondering how we're going with getting more crews out there, or is it pretty much steady as she goes?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. We actually have struggled to get crews because, as everyone would know, there's a lot of competing pressures, and also we're also competing as a private sector in terms of getting access to those. But we have good relationships with a number of crews, and so they've been very supportive. And we had two today, for instance, and I think for the rest of the week, looks like we've secured 2 crews at least to do the street. So, but it has been difficult.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. If there's no further questions, we do have a mover and a seconder. All those in favour, accept the CEO report. Thank you. So moved. Item 14, health and wellbeing, there's no reports to consider. Item 15, environment, no reports to consider. Item 16, local economy, no reports to consider. Item 17, heritage planning and infrastructure. I'll hand over to Director of Police, Mr. Rajaratnam.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Mr. Mayor. Councillors, this is your usual monthly report on unpermitted activity. I'm sure you're familiar with its structure and its content. The only point of interest that I would point out to you is that number of active permits this month seems to be the highest it's been for quite some time, which is a good sign of a bit of development activity happening. But I also noticed that the attachment to this report talks about a number of applications at the point where they need to be assessed. So I expect those numbers to come back down to our normal numbers in the next month or so. Council, the recommendation is at the bottom of page 21. I'm more than happy to take any questions you might have in relation to.
Okay, thank you. I'll get someone to move and second, and then we'll open it up to questions. Can we get someone move that the planning report?
happy to move
Yep.
that.
Thank you, Councillor Grout. Seconded for that, Councillor Grigor. Thank you. Councillors, do we have any questions for the Director of Police? I do have one question, Mr. Rajaratnam, just in regard on on page 28 of 58, application V 2021-117. It's a subdivision of land into 2 lots, but it's listed there as a big smart application. I'm just trying to work out whether that's standard practice or if that's an anomaly. I'm not too sure.
Through you, Mr. Chair, that's actually an application to subdivide land that already contains 2 buildings. So it's fairly procedural in nature, and hence why they've employed the smart approach.
Okay, yep. So it's already, yeah, so it's got 2.
Yeah, the buildings
Yep,
already exist.
already exist. Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Seer?
Oh, through you, Mr. Mayor, and just wanted to note that application 2020-077, we signed consent orders today, so the VCAT hearing will not proceed. The objector and the applicant came to an agreement, which council also supported. So that's now will be issued through a notice of decision.
Yep. So that will then be removed from our planning report for next time. Oh, that's good. Well done. Good result.
I find it hard to get VCAT decisions.
Any other questions for the Director of Police? If not, I'll move. We do have a mover and a seconder. All those in favour? Thank you.
Can I?
Yep.
can I
Councillor
further
Grout?
move?
Yep.
Yeah, the council receive a briefing on the following application because of community interest. So this is 2021/105, which is 34 to 36 Jellybrand Street and 61 Hesse Street, Queenscliff.
Thank you, Councillor Grout. So just the one? Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Can I get someone to second that? Yep. Second, Councillor Hewitt. All those in favour? Thank you. So moved. Thank you very much. Thank you, Councillor Grout. 17.2, the Borough of Queenscliff Draft Coastal and Marine Management Plan. Mr. Rajaratnam.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Council, very pleased to be bringing to you the Coastal and Marine Management Plan for the purposes of seeking additional community feedback. You've already been briefed on the content of the report, so I won't take you through it in detail, other than to say that it's based on obviously the Coastal and Marine Act, as well as the issues paper that was endorsed by Council in the middle of last year. Council, the recommendation is at the bottom of page 31. And officers are recommending that you endorse the draft Coastal and Marine Management Plan for the purposes of community consultation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rajaratnam. Councillors, do I have someone to move the recommendation? Councillor.
Yeah, happy to do that.
Yep. Thank you, Councillor Grout. Someone to second that motion? Thank you, Councillor Grigor. Thank you. Councillor Grout, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yeah, I'd like to say a few words. I'm pleased to move this draft. It's a coastal marine and management plan, and it's great to get it to the point where we can put it out for consultation. In particular, it's good to see another one of our important SERP actions begin to be addressed here by references to the Wadawurrung Healthy Country Plan in the draft. And now we do look forward to suggestions from our community about any gaps there may be or any other improvements in this plan. So thanks to you and the staff, Mr. Rajaratnam.
Thank you, Councillor Grant. Thanks should probably go to Dino O'Brien, who did a large part of the writing. But thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can you just pass on our thanks to Dinah for that? Councillors, anyone else like to speak to the motion?
I'd just like to say, Mr. Mayor, congratulations to everyone who's worked on the plan. I know that it's been a lot of work's gone into it, a lot of community consultation initially with the issues paper. And I really liked the way that we did stage that, garnish the community feedback initially before we started drafting the plan. So that was really a really valuable piece of the whole process. So thank you for taking the time to do that. I'm very much looking forward to, like Councillor Grout, hearing what the community has to say and to make sure that we're hitting the mark with our with what we see as the key issues and suggested actions. I look forward to it also helping us with our priorities, managing our priorities through DELP, and also just ensuring that we've got the right structures in place to proceed with projects going forward. So a very exciting plan for the future, like many that we've actually been through this year. So congratulations, it's been a massive workload and this just to top it off. So well done to everyone involved.
Thank you, Councillor Hewitt. Any other councillors like to speak? Councillor Grigor?
Thank you. I'd like to thank all the council officers for putting their time and effort into this policy or the draft policy. It's been long awaited. There's been a directive from state government has been sitting there and has been quite contentious with that community that we haven't had the time or sort of put the effort into doing it. And it's very important that we have give the community time for us to reflect on what's written and give constructive comment to develop a policy so we can manage and go forward for any development or regarding our coastal lands in the borough. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Grigor. I'll just concur my fellow councillors' sentiments. Also, yes, if you, as mentioned earlier, if you pass on our thanks to Dinah and her team. Just asking when, Mr. Rajaratnam, will this go out to the public for consultation?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I suspect that our comms and engagement officers will be looking to do it as soon as this meeting is actually finished.
Okay, thank you. And I think that there is planned to be quite a good length of time for consultation as well.
Consultation for at least a couple of months.
So certainly, we've had the community give their feedback, but here's another opportunity also that they can feed that back into the council officers. So well done. So we did have a mover and a seconder for that. Put that to the vote. All those in favour? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rajaratnam. We move on to item 18, governance and finance, 18.1. Appointment of council portfolios and delegates. It's the CEO.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, important piece of administration for council is to set themselves up for the coming year. And having now adopted the council plan, it's a good time to review the portfolios and the councillors that want to take on those separate and different portfolios. So the recommendation before you is really that we determine the council appointments for portfolios, determine the council representatives on the Audit and Risk Committee, determine representatives for the CEO Performance Review Committee, determine council delegates for state, regional and local organisations as outlined in the report, and the council representation on various reference groups that's also outlined in the report. So I'll put that recommendation to you and let you work through that.
Thank you, Mr. CEO, and I might refer across to the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Hewitt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. CEO. I'd firstly like to move the motion that councillor appoints the following councillors to the portfolios for the next 12-month period. For the portfolio of health and wellbeing, Councillor Gregor. For the portfolio of local economy, Councillor Ebles. For the portfolio of environment, myself, Councillor Hewitt. For the portfolio of heritage planning and infrastructure, Councillor Grout. And for the portfolio of governance and finance, Councillor Salter.
Thank you. Mr. C, I think we could probably, we'll keep going and we'll move
Yes.
and second them all
Yeah.
as one.
Yeah.
Item 3, councillor Hewitt, thank you.
I'd like to move that the council representatives on council's audit and risk committee are as follows: Councillor Ebles, Councillor Salter and Councillor Hewitt.
Thank you.
I'd like to move that the representatives on the CEO Performance Review Committee are as follows: Councillor Ebles, Councillor Gregor and Councillor Grout. I would like to move that the council delegates for state, regional and local organisation, that determines the representatives. Determine that the council delegates for state, regional and local organisations are as follows: for the Association of Bayside Municipalities, Councillor Hewitt and Councillor Grout. For the Barwon Southwest Local Government Waste Forum, Councillor Hewitt. For the Geelong Queenscliff Coastal Adaptation Planning Project, Our Coast, Councillor Grout. For the Geelong Regional Library Corporation, Councillor Ebles and Councillor Gregor as the substitute representative. For the Geelong Heritage Centre for Collection Advisory Committee, Councillor Ebles. For the Municipal Association of Victoria, Councillor Ebles and Councillor Hewitt as the substitute representative. For the Rural Councils of Victoria, Councillor Ebles. For the Tourism Greater Geelong and the Bellarine Board, Councillor Ebles. For the Bellarine Community Safety Group, Councillor Gregor. For the G21 Regional Alliance Board, Councillor Ebles. For the G21 Arts, Culture and Heritage Pillar, Councillor Gregor. For the G21 Economic Development Pillar, Councillor Ebles. For the G21 Education and Training Pillar, Councillor Salter. For the G21 Environment Pillar, Councillor Hewitt. For the G21 Health and Wellbeing Pillar, Councillor Gregor. For the G21 Planning Pillar, Councillor Grout. For the G21 Sport and Recreation Pillar, Councillor Gregor. For the G21 Transport Pillar, Councillor Grout. I would also like to move that the councillor representation on the various reference groups are as follows: for the Community Excellence Awards Reference Group, Councillor Salter and Councillor Hewitt. For the Community Grants Advisory Reference Group, Councillor Gregor and Councillor Grout. For the Memorial and Plaques Reference Group, Councillor Salter and Councillor Ebles.
Great work, councillor Hewitt. Well done. So councillors, councillor Hewitt is moving the motion with all those appointments. Can I get someone? Yep, second by councillor Grout. Would anyone like to speak to the motion? If not, no. Put that to the vote. All those in favour? Thank you. So carried. Thank you. And well done, councillors. When you read it out like that, it shows there's a fair bit of work to be done. Yes, have a glass of water after. Councillor Hewitt. So item 18.2, the council meeting schedule. Mr. CEO.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The purpose of this report is to really schedule our ordinary meetings of council for 2022 and also schedule our planning review meetings for the 2022 calendar year. We've made some recommendations in the body of the report itself, and so that they should be read in conjunction with the recommendation at the front here on page 43. So happy to take any questions if there are any about the proposed dates.
Okay, thank you. Councillors, the recommendation is there before you. Can I get someone move the recommendation? Thank you, Councillor Grigel. Seconded, Councillor Grout. Thank you. Any questions for the CEO? If there's no questions, thank you. I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? Thank you. So moved. Thank you, Mr. CEO. 18.3 review of council policies. We'll ask the Manager Finance and Corporate Services, Gihan. Thank you, Gihan. Nice to see you again.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councillors, I'll take the report as having been read, but would like to add a few comments. Policies in relation to CEO's employment and remuneration and complaint handling have been developed in accordance with the requirement of the new Local Government Act. The former, which is a new policy, outlines the way in which the council will manage the recruitment, the appointment, and the performance management of CEO. The Act requires both these policies to be in place by 31st December 2021. The policies on user fees and charges and then conservation covenant incentive have been updated as a part of the regular review process with minor changes are being proposed. Then the officers recommend the policy on local government's performance reporting framework to be revoked as the department issues comprehensive guidelines every year in relation to those reporting requirements. The recommendation is on page 47.
Thank you very much, Gihan. Councillors, do I have someone to move the recommendation? Councillor Grigel, thank you. Seconded, Councillor Hewitt, thank you. Councillors, do we have any questions for Gihan? No. Gihan, sorry, I was just going to ask you, can you tell me again why we're revoking the policy CP 032?
Normally we try to review it every 3 years. But what happens in those guidelines, we propose changes to those security requirements every year. So unless we review our policy also every year, the policy will not be really in line with those guidelines. But again, these guidelines are comprehensive enough for us to meet all those reporting requirements, and all the councils in the Victoria refer into the same set of guidelines.
Thank you. And I just note, just in regard to CP 053 with the Chief Executive Officer employment remuneration, councillors did receive a couple of briefings during this period, so we certainly understand our obligations moving forward under that new Local Government Act. Any further questions? No, if not, we do have let's move by Councillor Grigel, second by Councillor Hewitt. All those in favour? Thank you. So moved. Thank you. Thank you, Gihan. Councillors, we'll move on to item 19, authorisation of signing and sealing of documents. There are no reports to consider. Item 20, questions without notice. 20.1, questions without notice status update. There are no questions without notice outstanding. Item 20.2, questions without notice. Councillors, do we have any questions without notice tonight? Councillor Hewitt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to hijack this. I think I missed my moment before, but I just wanted to congratulate you. It's been a tremendous year as Mayor, and thank you so much for your leadership and guidance for the councillors and for the community. It's been really terrific, and I very much look forward to you continuing to have a hand at the wheel as we go into 2022. I think we're all very lucky to have you as Mayor, and so thank you very much for all your continued work.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Councillor Hewitt.
Mr. Point of order, Mr.
Point of order. Point of order. It's not a question.
Thank you for all that.
No, pleasure. Thank you. If there's no other questions without notice, we'll move on to item 21. List
You
the
have a right of reply. No.
No, done that already. Item 21, list of council meetings, planning review on Wednesday, 8th of December, if required. Our final council meeting, again, here in the town hall, will be Wednesday, the 15th of December at 7 PM. So we certainly encourage people to come along to that. Item 22, closed session of meeting. Recommendation, councillors, that in accordance with sections 66(1) and 66(2)A of the Local Government Act 2020, the meeting be closed to members of the public for consideration of the following confidential items. The only one we have tonight is 22.1, which is confirmation of the 27th October 2021 confidential council minutes. Can I get someone move that we close the session? Thank you. Move Councillor Hewitt, seconded Councillor Grout. All those in favour? Thank you. We'll just wait for Mr. Gibbs.